Chief Kid, my first question for you is how can students best stay safe and comply with the COVID-19 guidelines in light of the upcoming spring weather?
The first thing that comes to mind, I think it's really important that students really focus on their group size and really adhere to the COVID uh, protocols and restrictions. I mean, the group size is limited to 10. I mean, if you're joining a group or entering a group and there's 10 people already there, you got to find another group. Or if a group size is expanding, you should remove yourself from the group. Keeping a very small group size. That the number has been designated at 10. Anything larger than 10 will require early intervention, whether that's from public safety or other members of student development, from housing and residence life, dean of students office, community standards and civility. So that's one thing that students can do. Another thing they can do is really, follow the no guest policy. I mean, we can't have additional guests here on campus. If you follow that, it's going to limit the number of people here on campus. Again, it's going to encourage the group size or when individuals are kind of hanging out or visiting with one another. Another thing is to wear your face coverings. Those the same things that we've been doing since the beginning of the school year. It's not going to change as the weather gets warmer or as we enter St. Patrick's Day. Wear face coverings. You need to have your face covering on. And always remember to keep the sidewalks and the streets clear. Keep the sidewalks and streets clear for emergency vehicles. Just hang out in your respective area. I think that's really important for students to know. And if the police give an order, to disperse, turn the radio down, whatever the order or direction, if I may, from public safety, from the University of Dayton Police Department, from the City of Dayton Police Department, from our neighborhood resource representatives, members of Housing and Residence Life, if any direction given to you by the university staff, faculty, adhere to it. Just follow it, because that's when things start to escalate when those rules aren't being followed. So we want to give warnings. We want to just say, please turn it down, limit your group size, and if anyone ever feels like they can't manage the group size at their residence for any reason in the community, reach out to public safety. We'll come and we'll say, hey, you don't live here. The group size is becoming too much. It's creating inherent risk to our community. You have to leave. So we want to support the student body as they help the university adhere and keep our community safe, adhere to these rules and regulations and keep our community safe. It's super important, I will say, and I think a lot of students have heard me say this before. There's going to be a lot of eyes, as the weather gets warmer and activity increases. Montgomery County Public Health is watching what goes on here. And we have to make sure we're doing everything. When I say we, university staff and faculty, is helping keep our community safe. So those are just a few things, and the students have to do their part as well. We're all in this together.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Thank you for those tips. Just a follow-up question to the last thing you said regarding if you do find yourself in a position where a group larger than 10 is gathered on your lawn and you do have to reach out to public safety, is there any type of consequence, I guess, for the student who reaches out and asks for that assistance?
No, there's no consequence. I mean, we really appreciate the student partnering. I'll use that key word, and that's what it's all about. Community engagement, community partnerships, partnering with public safety, partnering with the university, doing their part to help keep these crowd sizes to a minimum. Because, we all want to be here, and we want to see graduation take place. We want to see in-person classes continue. There's going to be a lot of consequences for individuals as it relates to discipline. There could be consequences as it relates to their education not being able to finish the school year when we get so close. I think I'm excited to have a successful end to the year. I think things have been going fairly well. So I just like that to continue as the weather gets warmer. We have seen activity pick up in the neighborhood. in the student neighborhood in our communities. But we have to keep things to a minimum. We have to abide by the COVID restrictions, keep that at top of mind. This is a public health order, public safety risk that are here, and everyone has to take that into account.
That's definitely comforting. I know for me, just knowing that if I do find a crowd, that big on my lawn, that public safety is there to help, not get you in trouble. So
Absolutely.
that is very helpful. And then I just wanted to circle back really quick to the no guest policy in your residence. I know that typically when I hear the word guests, I immediately think of external guests, but can you touch a little bit on how that even means internal guests as well? Like, for example, I can't have my friend over inside of my residence, even if she lives right next door to me and also goes to UD.
That's correct. We're really trying to keep it to the roommates. You can't have guests that's coming in because again, that creates inherent risk of the spread. So we're trying to minimize that. So again, follow that guest policy. There's no guests, even though that there's students here, there's no guests within your dorms. There's no guests there. So, I mean, it's super important that individuals understand that because there are consequences to that. And we don't want to get there. I don't feel that we should get there because we can all do better if we do our part.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And then just really quickly, if I did want to hang out with my friend who, lives right next door to me, is a UD student, but did not want to break the COVID guideline of having her in my residence, how would you suggest we go about still doing that?
I would suggest being outside for if the weather's permitting, doing it outdoors. I think that's the best way to be able to do that. When you start doing things indoors, again, it just creates risk, potential for the spread, creates risk for each of them. So if we can keep that to a minimum by being outside, that's what my recommendation will be.
Okay, thank you. And then just one of my final wrap-up questions for you was, how essential do you think that these tips are to the UD community being able to stay in community on campus for the remainder of the semester?
I would start with, as I said before, the stakes are high.
Mm-hmm.
And these tips are extremely essential to, I would say, to lowering those stakes, if I may. These are our top tips, if I may. And I really want the student body to think about these tips and really just abide by them because it truly will make a difference in our community for everyone.
Okay, thank you so much. And then in closing, do you have any other essential tips for students to still enjoy warm weather while being COVID conscious?
Warm weather is nice for everyone. We all like to be outside. And again, we are here at the Department of Public Safety to support our students. But again, in doing so, again, our number one priority is safety. I want our students to keep that in mind as it relates to the pandemic or even engaging in high risk behavior as the weather gets warmer. I want them to know that we are one community, one body, really working together towards this common goal of getting through this pandemic as a whole in the university.
Absolutely. Well, Chief Kidd, thank you so much for joining me today and going over some of these tips for warm weather. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.